My name's Chris.
I'm Kristie.
Fucking bees.
Fucking bees. Oh, fucking Nicole and her honey.
Quick, over there. Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage, take the bees. Take the bees.
Thank you.
This is the Washing Up Podcast, and that was a boarded up theatre of the mind, theatre restaurant of the mind in some ways.
Some cross-pollination.
Lots of cross-pollination.
Thank you, Sizzletown.
We had to pay tribute to like one of the moments of the series, and we had to start with it because my God, the last 3 nights have been dour. All those in favour of saying the last 3 nights have been dour,
So now we know that Nicole has become a beekeeper, an apiarist.
Yes, she is.
You know, I presume what happened was she got the honey, just set a little trap down to capture the queen, and she's brought a little treat back from WA there.
What happens in the apiary stays in the apiary. So, look, it's been 3 nights. I'm not going to say they've been good.
3 nights since we went insane.
It feels a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
Look, there was so much promise on the first of the 3 nights. I mean, we opened with, as you pointed out on Twitter, quite correctly, we opened with the Holden Precision Driving team.
Exactly. I'm like, fuck yes, we're going to see them whizzing across the paddocks, you know, dodging in and out of the vines.
I can't work out who they're sponsored by this year, can you?
No, but, you know, welcome to the stadium, the Holden Precision Driving team.
They were not up on 2 wheels.
Starring Anushka, Nicole, Krissa.
Simon isn't allowed to drive his hair or get in his eyes. Yeah. So it was quite the start. So they were cooking. They were obviously all cooking for the chance to go through to finals week, which is as bullshit of a prize as I've ever heard.
Look, they're in the Swan Valley, which we know, as I said before on the podcast, the one great thing about Perth, 20 minutes from the fucking local wineries, and here we are, they said there.
I found out, by the way, that winery is actually over the road from the place we went.
Oh, really?
So we went to a really good chocolate place, not the place they went to in here.
No.
But a really good chocolate place. And, yeah, when I was asking our Western Australian correspondent about locations, and they were like, yeah, no, it's directly over the road from where we were. So I'm like, I remember those fields.
And I remember being really shitty because they had amazing charcuterie and, like, cheese place there. And I had this fucking sense of smell shit going on.
And couldn't go near it.
Couldn't go anywhere near it.
No, you couldn't. So, we'll quickly get into this because the quicker we get into this, the quicker we can move on with our lives. So they all had to cook something. They all had to go and be inspired by something that was already programmed into the Holden. I wish someone had fucked with the sat-nav and they ended up in, like, Club X Perth. So what do you have in the way of edible lubricant?
We can go back with a strawberry or a plum flavoured.
Now, do any of these taste like the actual flavours? Oh, God, no, they just all taste like lubricant.
Do you have one with a warming sensation? Because I'd like to use that on George.
What about panna cotta? Have you got anything in a panna cotta? What about a butter sauce? Have you got a butter sauce?
How would this pair with fish or scallops?
So Tessa's car sent her to a chocolate place. I like the idea it might have been driverless cars too. Like that would be cool.
They get in and just says clunk, clunk, clunk as the doors lock.
Or it's Knight Rider.
Yes. Hello, Tessa. Welcome to the car.
Kit suddenly talking to her about that. So Tessa went to a chocolate place and she picked a 70% dark chocolate, and she's made a point of every time she announced her chocolate. I didn't just have chocolate, it was 70%.
70% dark chocolate.
So, as many of us on Twitter pointed out, she probably should have been forced to cook with the other 30%.
Yes.
Anushka went off to a cheese place and got some blue cheese. She's inspired by blue cheese.
She blew herself.
And as we mentioned previously, Nicole was attacked by bees. So, and one of the lines of Forever, I wasn't aware that bees were attracted to honey.
Oh my God.
Like, I just thought they produced it and that was it. What? So you thought they made it for human consumption?
Do we real, like, just these generous little bees just going, look, I'm just going to spend all my day making something that the humans can consume. How do you think the humans are? Do you think they'll like my honey? Oh, my God.
Oh, look, we've worked on this other thing, but you can't spread that on toast, so can we go back to the honey?
Yeah. Like, I don't know what our children will eat, our bee children, the queen's children, I should say, but they're all our children because we are a hive.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they will eat it. I really don't give a shit because I'm just producing this for the humans.
So...
am I next in line to fuck the queen?
Speaking of next in line, I did forget to mention that the starting point for the episode, I felt really bad because they lined... At the very start, you had Nicole lined up next to Tessa.
Yep, lined up next to
Anushka.
Nicotine Anushka.
Because
one of these things is not like the others. One of these things is failed cloning.
And I gave up, by the way, for those playing the drinking game, I put a tweet out the other night which simply just said, before the episode, drink a fucking bottle. Because the word beautiful is everywhere. And the other night, it was ridiculous. And by the way, tonight, the last thing Christina said in her montage as she was about to leave was talking about what a beautiful journey it was. I'm like, for fuck's sake. Even as you leave, you're still using it. It's just getting ridiculous. So that did open up to an interesting discussion. So we had a very interesting discussion online about a couple of things. First of all, we had a conversation about what sort of things probably need to go.
Yeah.
Twills.
George.
That was the most common answer we got. George isn't going anywhere. I said fish, and someone went, what, you're getting rid of all of them? And I went, unless they can learn to use them properly. Yes. I'm dealing in absolutes here. I'm an absolute monarch, and my ruling will be total. Butter sauce, definitely. Panna cotta, definitely. Twills, 100% gone, but they're gone more for Joe's benefit, so she doesn't have to break down every time. Although tonight, I mean, we don't even know where Simon's twill is. We'll come to that later. But, yeah, what else needs to go? There's a range of things. Like, I think pork crackling anywhere outside of up to about week 5 needs to not be there. We'll come back to that as we go through because we've got a few other things to get into. I heard the weirdest nickname that I've ever heard was the nickname given the other night where Simon yelled out, "Come on, you Velociraptor."
This takes me back to a Jim Owen thing, right? Where he's talking about how the nickname you're assigned is always something you don't want. So it's like, when I was at school, I should have gone, don't, get a few friends to call me Demi-sex God from Hell, Demi-sex God from Hell. Oh, don't call me that. I'm like, is this what's going on?
Velociraptor was the weirdest fucking nickname I've ever heard. And it just seems like they're just doing it now to fuck with people.
Well, they were also commenting on Nicole's run and how... No, that was the other night, wasn't it, when she was...
No, but they were doing it again, and then they all copied it last night. And also, at the same time as well, there was Larissa trying to lend a lot of advice, and Larissa has become a very full of advice person. And we saw that again tonight.
She's become the Yenta.
She's very full of advice. But... The way Larissa was...
do that, Bobby. What are you doing then, Christina? Oh, no, that's no good.
The way Larissa was presenting herself the other night, and again, no one take this as a shot at her outfit. I thought the outfit was glorious, but the outfit reminded me so much of Grease 2 that she was about to start singing for a cool rider.
Well, she could have.
Maybe that's what they were doing.
Riding a Holden.
Maybe that's what they were doing, because as we're going to get to in a minute, when they got to the second challenge, they did cut an independent album photo cover. All standing on the stairs at different heights. We'll come to that. So, when we got to the challenge, so they had to use those ingredients, obviously, and hero, as everyone took a drink, those ingredients. Tim reminded everyone quite helpfully, of course, that they needed to go all the way to the end. Thanks for that. I don't know how we would have got there without you, Tim.
What do you mean you want me to cook until the end of the time that I've been given? Because I was only planning to go halfway and then just be like, I'm out. That's it. I'm done.
So
Maybe an extra minute.
So we had Anushka presented her blue cheese mousse.
And squirrel.
If
only. If only there was some native Western Australian squirrel that she could have served up with that. Would have been hilarious.
I'm not going to lie. One of my favourite things this year is whenever Anushka cooks mousse.
Because I go and squirrel.
Because Kristie goes and squirrel. Now...
I'm racially insensitive. What can I say?
They had to take 2 people through, and the 2 people they took through were Tessa and Nicole. And then they had to decide whose dish they liked the most, and the answer was Tessa's. So she got the advantage. Now, what was the advantage? I hear you all scream.
The same as you get in mystery boxes years gone by.
You get to pick the ingredient you use, which is such an advantage when it's a very limited cabinet. Anyway,
wow, that's advantageous.
Oh, say does that star-spangled emperor yet wave? It's just like, it's the most Trump name for a fish.
It's the goodest emperor. It's the best emperor.
My emperor is huge.
It's huge.
So she chose,
the best.
Surprise, surprise, fish.
I called it fishing with Epstein. We went out on his yacht.
Too soon, Abby. Too soon.
Not soon enough.
Too soon. No, well, not soon enough. You're right. They could have stopped it. Anyway, so they had to cook allegedly. Not like this, I guess. So they had to cook fish. What goes with fish, Kristie?
Oh, I don't know. There's only one thing I'd ever pair with a fish, and it's the only thing anyone ever pairs with a fish. Butter sauce.
A butter sauce, you say?
I know, just
a fish
butter sauce. You know, it's
with a butter sauce.
Classic combination. You go to the fish and chip shop, like, leave the chips, give me the butter sauce.
Yeah, it's all you ever ask for. I only request fish now if it comes with a butter sauce.
I get my little tin of John West tuna and butter sauce. It's the only sort he sells.
And
no lemon pepper or chili or...
Tessa got the greatest words in the history of mankind the other night too.
Yes.
Colin Barras came over, asked her all the questions about why your dish was so fucked up, and then says to her, "We should leave you."
Yes.
People would kill for that, Tessa. Can you just give us the secret? How? How do you manage to get George Colin Barras to go, "I'm going over here now"? Like, that's perfect.
Now, I did think there was this moment, right, of Tim, fiery redhead, sun setting behind him in the russet autumn leaves, like all these autumnal tones. Yep. It's like he was built for it. It was like a 1970s shot
perfect.
From the little house on the prairie.
It was perfect. And George...
waiting for Melissa Gilbert to come running down with her pigtails flying.
And didn't George capture the moment exquisitely with his beautiful, beautiful poetry?
Oh, doesn't he just...
Why would you fall like a leaf when you can fly like a plane?
Oh, just words.
As I tweeted out the other night...
Words.
Why drive like a race car driver when you can eat like a lion? The two things are just as closely linked.
He really is going to be chosen as the next Dalai Lama, isn't he?
No, it's poet laureate.
Laureate, Dalai Lama, just fucking...
I can't wait
wisdom and beauty.
Boom, boom, shake the rom. He did it tonight, but he did boom, boom, let's go.
He's changing it up.
That's like, his poetry.
He's like, you know what? People know me for my...
Hey, if John Laws can do it...
shake the room. And he's like, I need to change that up. And just like, yeah, really like...
If John Laws can be known for poetry...
Well, Valvoline.
Valvoline, you know what I mean. And of course, his infamous readings of the poem Judge Roy Bean. Yeah, hang him by his neck.
Do you think George wrote the lyrics for the band? For the Gantry band?
He's got to be the person. Do you think George is writing the scripts?
Oh my God.
I think we've worked out why they say so much inane shit. Colin Barras is writing it.
Guys. I just want you to say one word. No. Don't use gorgeous. Just say beautiful. Beautiful produce, okay? Beautiful. Yeah.
Beautiful local produce. So... They, as we mentioned before, they got them all the people who weren't cooking because there's no gantry. So they got them all to stand on this staircase. Now, it was the most awkward thing I think I've seen. And we all thought that when they were stuck standing on the floor next to the benches in Queensland Week, like they were like extras at a party, we thought that was awkward.
Or they're going to break out into a song number 8, like Glee.
925,600 minutes. That's how long this fish has left to cook. It's just like... It was weird.
In saucepan, we're gonna cook that emperor.
It's seasons of boiling and broiling and frying.
God. Masterchef the Musical.
And we've got an episode. So it was though, like we have Cool Rider. So
yes, yeah, we do.
Larissa singing a song, but not about a cool rider, but about just George with his glasses. Bad boy George with his glasses. It wouldn't be Cool Rider that she borrowed from. It would be closer to like Bad Boy Johnny and the Prophets of Doom. Bad boy Georgie and the Judges of Doom. It'd be perfect. And just think about the number of songs you can do about panna cotta. Yeah. Wobble, 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 wibble, wobble, 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 wibble, wobble. That's just the chorus in the background doing the dance while someone comes in and sings about, probably Ben, because I mean, who else? Sings about the joy of panna cotta. This is coming together.
Okay. Come at us with your MasterChef the Musical numbers.
Yeah, I want to see what you do with scallops because they've done a lot. So we want to know. So hashtag MasterChef the Musical. Hashtag washing up pod because we want some credit on this.
Panna cotta, here I go again. My, how can I dish you?
Nice.
Panna cotta.
Nice. So hashtag it with MasterChef the Musical and hashtag washing up pod.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. So just before we move on, because I really look, Nicole wins after they say that Tessa had the advantage, and I'm like, it's not really a fucking advantage. It's fish.
I picked a fish.
Picked a fish out. Well, you've got the advantage. Nicole's like,
I picked a fish.
Sweet, I'll just cook it. Just to mention, I mentioned this the other night, but it's a very important thing I have to mention. They've been running their competition all week to win a trip to Food and Wine over in Western Australia. When you go to the page,
because they both entered.
The first thing you see,
we will happily go.
Oh, yeah, and we'll represent all of you. The first thing you see is a picture of Marco Pierre White. I wonder if Matt Preston knows this. I wonder if Marco Pierre White knows this.
I hope the website designer is trolling Matt Preston.
I really hope that tonight's keyword, because we didn't see tonight's keyword, because they're going to do it through the masterclass, and we're not fucking watching that.
No.
I hope tonight's keyword was kingfish. It's really that it could be.
Oh,
so that got us.
My kingfish.
That got us into last night, which was the team challenge, where they all drove out into the country to prove the Holdens could do it, and then walked into the forest,
carrying torches. There's a fire burning,
and they told them all they had a challenge. And I did hope it was going to be to cut down the tallest tree in the forest with a herring, but it wasn't.
Now, luckily, Tim found the immunity
idol, so he didn't he wasn't going to go home.
No.
LaPaglia told him that he was fine, so it was very much like they walked onto the Survivor set by accident. And meanwhile, we have absolutely no interest in watching this series of Survivor, except
Luke's back.
The greatest, weirdest contestant in the history of mankind, Luke, is back.
The snarkiest guy on Australian television.
The snarky podcast in the jungle.
Like, you don't need to build a shelter with him because he's just throwing shade everywhere.
Luke was very good when we briefly podcasted the Tiki Lounge
yes.
Masterchef Survivor. Luke was very good fodder.
We were the fourth best
Masterchef Survivor podcast. So we're moving up in the world with Masterchef and Bake Off, obviously, as premiere.
Seventh.
No, we're premiere. So that's French for lies, isn't it? So the good news was, for all of the disconcerting things that have happened so far in Western Australian week, you know the one thing that hasn't gone away?
What?
Tim's random nodding.
consistent.
Look, we need, in dark times,
Yeah.
you need something consistent.
And it was dark times because Matt Preston was a black Stetson away from being
He
an oil
really
villain. There he is with his little fob chain.
I saw someone, I can't remember who it was, and I apologise, but I saw somebody suggest that he was late for a 1915 funeral.
Oh, yes.
But this
George
was,
and Gary as his posse of thugs.
This was with Dan Gedge at Lewin Estate. Over in Perth.
Looks beautiful.
It looks lovely. It looks
Beautiful.
wonderful. It looks great.
Looks gorgeous. Scenery looks spectacular.
Now they divided them into teams of 3 because that's obvious. Now you've got 6 left.
And we had one team with green aprons.
So we had green aprons and we had yellow aprons.
Yep.
So the green team were Simon, Larissa,
And
Christina, and that meant the yellow. And that meant the yellow team was Tim, Tessa, and Anushka. And I kind of thought instantly that Tim, Tessa, and Anushka had an instant advantage. I just felt that but the reason why I say that is I just felt that the 3 of those would be able to work a little bit better.
I honestly felt, and I might have misread it, but it's only what I saw on TV, there looked like a bit of tension between Christina and Simon.
They did, and then the moment where Larissa decided to make a joke about, as we'll get to in a moment, Simon forgetting dishes. That look that Simon gave when he spun around was a mixture of, I know I fucked up and I'm embarrassed, and say that one more time.
And I will cut you.
And the spare plates I've got under the bench?
I will cut you.
I will throw one. And I will hit you with it. It was, and look, I understood exactly where he was coming from.
But it all starts with Christina having to use Jerusalem artichokes. And she said, I've never cooked with these before. Whose clever idea was to use those then? They had to do something inspired by the forest. I don't know what the fuck they were inspired by. Is Jerusalem in a forest?
She grabbed it. So we didn't have to do everything necessarily. They had to have some element there. Like, again, we had forest floor for the dessert because it's not like we've ever seen a fucking forest floor.
And why are you... Okay, there's more parts to a fucking forest than just the fucking floor. There's, like, the middle bit, with all the branches and the fucking trees and the shrubbery. And then there's the fucking canopy. Like, don't you remember year 8 geography where you had to study the rainforest fucking canopy? Shit happens up there. There are birds. You could have cooked a fucking quail and put it in a salad and said, this is the bird nesting in the canopy. Like, go old school French where they gave no fucks about the bird's life and just fucking served you up a bird.
They did that tonight with the quail.
Yeah, but it didn't look like a bird. I'm talking like,
maybe they could
leaving the head on.
Maybe they could have used that bird they found in the UK. The one they thought was a rare species.
Just in curry powder.
Yeah.
Someone's butter chicken was raw.
Yeah. So I'm sending it back to the kitchen.
Excuse me. It is still squawking. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Let me take that away for you.
A million pardons. So...
what would you like?
Look, what I will give them credit for is they do obviously know their
They
do know their MasterChef history,
and
because
paperback writer.
Yeah, that was coming. They do know their MasterChef history because this is about the week we normally see someone bust out a forest floor. So I was starting to get worried that we weren't going to see one. Then, bam! Second encore.
Anushka steps in to save the day. And look, to be honest, okay, a forest floor is very passé. Why, it would have been nice to see a canopy, or at least like the middle regions. We got the floor, and it was the only thing that had a bit of concept to it because there's Anushka going, it's a forest floor.
Now, I would argue maybe that what
Did it well.
I would actually argue that what Simon did in his main reflected the forest beautifully.
How so?
No one's fucking delivering your food in a forest. Where in a forest do you have a waiter come out with a gourmet fucking prepared meal on a china plate? Look, you don't. Therefore, Simon's concept, genius. It's next level. He's playing chess, everybody. The rest of you checkers.
Oh my God, he should have served platters, like just plain plates and a knife and went forage.
Can't would have.
Here we go. Foraging time.
You haven't thought this through, people.
Nah.
Simon, fucking genius. right? Simon has worked this shit out. No one has China servers in the forest.
Yeah.
Right? You go out into the forest, if you don't have your own food, you fucking starve.
Or maybe it was cross-promotion for The Bachelor, and it's like the diners that he liked, he gave meals to, and the ones that, I'm sorry, and Osher Gunsberg steps out and says, I'm sorry, but Simon has decided that you're not his type.
Unfortunately, you're driving through drive-through on the way home. Now, look, there was a lot of shit came out of this, so I'm going to go into a bit of it now. So,
scallops.
First of all, yeah, so...
Sorry, you drive.
Vroom, vroom. I'm in a Holden, I'm on 2 wheels, I'm part of the precision driving team.
I'm just going to put a bunger down to really make it look like there's crazy explosions,
So first of all, we'll talk about the food. So... They gave them, and somebody turned around to me last night and went, oh, no, they gave them chicken as an option too. Yeah, but they've been conditioned like Pavlov's dogs. If you see lamb and you see scallops, you cook lamb and you cook scallops. Again,
because they're ground dwelling, you know? Like, you should have been looking in the canopies, you've been using chicken. Something different.
I'm a bit worried about the ground dwelling scallops of which you speak.
They've, like, left the ocean.
Oh, God, they're sentient.
Evolutionary.
They're sentient.
It's just like the Fat Boy Slim film clip going in the background. It's a scallop growing legs.
It's like the Simpsons episode where the dolphins take over the world. Yeah. I'm sorry. We've got to get better now. So they gave them shit they've cooked with a million times, then got surprised they cooked with it again. Then questioned the fact that they both did the same dish twice, that they both did scallops and they both did lamb. And it's a scallop and a lamb off. I'm sorry, but if both teams are doing that and they had free choice, this speaks to a much deeper problem, which is the lack of variety in the cooking. You know, last night I introduced it with the idea of what will they cook? Will it be a parfait? Will it be fish? The answer was it was 2 of the other specialists, which was lamb and scallops. Now, again, I am not blaming the contestants for cooking them. A lot of people were having a go at the contestants for cooking them. The production team gave them those options. Production gave them the option.
But let's put pause there, because here's Mr. Vegan Smokehouse, right? In a place that I'm sure is, you know, what he aspires to do.
He had options.
He had fucking options, and he had a chance to go,
and he was in charge of that dish.
Yeah, I'm going to do the cooking that I love. And what does he grab? He grabs fucking lamb. So...
But you know why he grabbed lamb?
Why?
Because Tim grabbed lamb.
And whatever Tim does...
And if you listened, he was yelling back and forward with Tim while they were cooking.
Oh, so they're just basically throwing their sausages around.
Basically.
Whose lamb's bigger?
But this is
oh,
the
look,
point.
I'm grilling mine. What are you doing? Oh, you're basting yours.
But you're right there in terms of... You're right there in terms of the fact that we had a situation where Simon could have cooked something that would have reflected his values, his ethos, and probably would have made all of us feel better about what we were watching. Even if we're not necessarily up on the idea of, you know, this sort of almost enforced level of veganism. At least you go, I believe in what he's doing and I know this is what he wants to do.
And he would have
lamb after a week where he used fucking venison, a veal. Like, he used veal and then he's going off and doing... Like, no, just make you. Like, seriously, make you.
Where is this vegan smokehouse shit that you keep talking that you want to do and we're not seeing?
Now...
I mean, even Larissa got out some paper bark to smoke stuff with.
Now, let's talk about that. So, Larissa's dessert. It was shit. But... Here's the thing, right? Larissa has been in a spot where she's been doing really well on desserts. And, you know, she's trying things at this point of the competition, which goes back to a point I raised the other night about when you learn to try stuff.
And to be quite honest, she was in a safe position to try stuff because she had her immunity pin. And I know we'll get to the other bit.
This brings up the second point. There were not a lot of people out there. In fact, there were about 2 or 3 people who commented and didn't even say, oh, she threw that. But there were some people out there who went, oh, maybe Larissa didn't care that much because she had the immunity pin.
Which is a fair call to make.
It is.
I just made it.
It is, although, as I would point out, like, if you're Larissa, you want to avoid, at any point, going into it. You want to go in winning things, not losing things.
Absolutely.
And you want your dish to be great. And the thing is, all she can control is her dish, and she doesn't want to serve a shithouse dessert.
No.
Because if she does something bad, and then next time she cooks something's bad, they go, that's a couple of bad cooks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not going to throw anything. Now, the Daily Fail Australia. It is the Daily Mail, but let's face it, let's go with the UK name, the Daily Fail. Decided to write a lovely article today basically saying fans are outraged that Larissa might have thrown a challenge to get two other people into elimination. Bullshit.
Why the fuck would she do that?
It's pointless. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. And it's lazy journalism to go down through Twitter feeds and find a couple of comments from people going, oh, maybe she threw it, and going, great, let's run with that as the story.
It's journalism. It's clickbait. It's
Don't
bullshit.
click it. Don't click it.
Do not click the bet.
And Masterchef has enough problems.
Yes, we don't need to go making them up.
We've listed a whole pile of them. Don't make them up, right? Because that's not fair on any contestant to do that. And I'm really pissed off with the Daily Mail about that one. And, we're not necessarily the biggest defenders of the show, but
No.
really fucking
But
pissed.
the thing is, as soon as you put out some slander against any one of the contestants and pull some people against them, particularly female
sticks.
contestants, it sticks. And if, say, Larissa was to win, how is that going to affect her prospects going down the line? Because that's the kind of bullshit that happens.
But, if say, for example, if Tessa wins, or say, for example, Tim wins, or anyone on that other team wins, then they go back and go, well, they only made it through there because somebody else threw a challenge on the other side. That would be the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Everyone would be slandered, would be sort of tarnished by the same thing. It's ridiculous to do that, and I just think it's lazy journalism.
Yeah, and I think, Larissa had an idea. She gave it a crack, and, it didn't work out. So, but that said, she probably may have had some more thinking time to kind of jazz up the ice cream or the whole dish if she wasn't like, okay, I had to down tools and go and help Christina with the entree because she was falling behind.
Because of the scallops. Now, George went over to both teams and did the same thing. Scallops? Really? At this point, why would you do that? That's not smart. We wouldn't do that. And both teams said the same thing to George. Fuck off.
Yeah.
I like it when they get to the point of the year where they tell George to fuck off. Now, was George right? Yes. But be that as it may, they both managed to cook the scallops. That doesn't mean George was wrong, by the way. George was right. The only way they managed to cook the scallops was by taking everybody else off their other dishes.
Yeah.
Which impacted the quality of the rest of the cook for both teams.
Absolutely.
And we saw that. It was not a very good cook. Even the team that won didn't do a great job.
No. And then Simon was already struggling, and then that made him struggle further.
Yeah.
So
Tim has a habit, which we talked about the other day, of putting food next to other food.
Yep.
And they went over to Tim and went, you might want to take some of those elements off the plate. He's like, I love them all. I can't. And then they tasted it. And
they're already by their sides of each other. They're already, the pumpkins.
There'll be a gap. There'll be a gap. I can't have a gap.
But they're all my friends. I can't let any of my friends not be on the plate.
And then, funnily enough, when they judge it, they went, there's too much.
It's
not working.
No.
So let's talk about one thing, though, that
it was essentially a lamb salad. There was that much shit on the plate.
It was. Let's talk quickly about the one thing that Christina did do right on that team.
What?
Which was 3 scallops.
Yes.
Because Tessa...
fuck yous all.
If I ordered scallops
and you got 2
and 2 turned up, that dish is going back to the kitchen.
And going, where's the third one?
I want more of my fucking scallops, please.
Yeah.
They raised that too. And no, we're right.
Here's the thing with an entree, right? If it's smaller than a 50-cent piece, at least 3 of them. So you like a scallop, ravioli, something like that. You want 3 of them. If it's a bit bigger than that, you could go 2. If it's but if it's like the size of your hand, you only want 1, like a cannelloni or something like that. You don't. Yeah, it's like just.
Common sense,
dude.
Common sense.
People are just stuffing themselves on bread, and they want something to ready themselves. And
so it was a bit. Know. It was a bit unusual. We said.
I was ranting.
You are.
Just offended Tessa. Like, come on, you're better than this.
So
I'm from Queensland, and seafood's our thing. Yeah, well, 3 of them, not fucking 2.
So it was the moment where we realised, where they came back to the
Seriously, who serves 2 fucking scallops? It's just ridiculous.
So it was the moment we came back to the kitchen.
Ridiculous.
It was the moment we came back to the kitchen.
The kitchen, yeah, okay.
And Gary, George, and Matt all walked in and went, Simon, where's the rest of the mains? I mean, did you send them all out? Because there are people that seem to be missing them. Yeah, we did. Are you sure? Because there's a whole table that doesn't seem to have any food. And then they walked back around, looked under the bench and went, oh, shit, there's all the plates there. Oh, God, what are we going to do? And then they just threw together. Like, they had leftover lamb. It's like, well, of course, if you have leftover lamb, guess what? You didn't fucking cook it all.
And surely they knew their portions. Like, they knew, okay.
You'd think so, and yet...
Here we are.
And yet here we are. So...
and that's just, like the whole thing of a dining experience is that you want to feel part of the experience and included. And when it's like when we went out to dinner for your brother's birthday, and everyone else's food was served and your dad was sitting there like without his food. And we waited and he's like, no, eat because it's getting cold. And luckily he did because your risotto with its lumps of mozzarella in it just started to congeal.
It did congeal. It was horrible.
Yeah.
But we'd all eaten and he then got his dinner. It was his lunch. It was ridiculous. So that put that team into elimination. There's no need even discussing the rest of it. And then they did the will Larissa play the pin? Well, tonight is actually the last chance.
Night you can.
So of course she fucking played the pin.
Yeah, and to be honest, she deserves that fair and square. Sure, her dessert wasn't the best, but she wasn't the main issue in the team last night.
But she was the one who went out and apologised for it.
Absolutely.
And look, that's good on her part. It probably should have been Simon. Mm-hmm. But I can also understand that he was probably a bit pissed off with himself by that point and wasn't prepared to. So this brought us to night 3. This brings us to tonight. And tonight we find ourselves in the wonderful company of Santi Fernandez.
Hello, my name is Santi Fernandez. You kill McQuail. Prepare to die.
There's subtitles under your name right now, apparently. So Channel 10 decided that you couldn't understand Santi. And that we all needed subtitles.
It was like this American documentary I was watching, and they had a New Zealander talking and they had like fucking subtitles underneath them. Not for the Australian, just the New Zealander. Anyway.
Spectacular. All right, so you had to make 2 dishes.
2 dishes.
Now, first of all, did she play the pin? Of course she fucking played the pin. Duh. So we've got a few questions. I've asked her some questions tonight as well, and one of the questions I got was, do you think the challenge tonight was fair? The answer is fuck no.
See, I would have liked if they tonight, like, there was a bit of a Spanish thing because you had, what's his face there? Like, couldn't we have had it in telenovela style? Like, because it was mono a mono. It was Christina versus Simon, so why not? And there was a moment where it focused in on Christina, then it blurred out and showed Tessa looking over her shoulder pensively. Like, we needed more of that. And
Flamenco guitar over the background.
Yeah, and some more monologues to camera. That, like, instead of the white background, it's a moody background.
So the first dish they had to make was quail, and the second one they had to make was the chocolate banana thing, which is all I'm calling it.
With a tweel.
With a tweel. Well, depends on whose version of the dish you got.
Both had miso.
No, they all fucking had miso in them. Fuck.
A traditional Spanish ingredient.
Now, Christina said that the instructions were so full and so heavy. It was like picking up an encyclopedia. I can only assume she means Encarta.
Because it's not the Britannica.
I'm also stunned that she knows what an encyclopedia is, although she thinks that was that heavy. Maybe she doesn't.
Did you have an encyclopedia growing up?
I did.
So did I.
I had the big set.
Yeah. And I loved it. It was second-hand, our one.
New World?
I think it was from the
Yes, I had the New World.
Yes, I think it was like from the 1970s.
That's great.
And I used to love just going through, like, you'd open up a random page and learn something new.
I loved it.
It was great.
I sit there and read the encyclopedia all the time. Yes, I'm that person.
But we all were in the 80s and early 90s.
Back in the 1980s.
Back when Stranger Things actually was happening. Not the documentary you're having now.
This is the documentary.
Those demigorgons were everywhere.
So Simon, at one point tonight, said that the stock is the most important part of the dish. 3 minutes later, Simon says the quail is the most important part of the dish.
But they showed Christina, right, who's just kind of bunged it in, and it's pre-made. Like, they haven't made it. It's pre-made. She's just fucking, I've just got to reduce this down. Like, it wasn't a big deal. And it comes to Simon, he's like, this is the most important part of the dish.
But there was Simon.
They went telenovela on it.
But there was Simon. He got confused by how to debone a quail. and the fact that they take the breast off the bone. And
That is
and
stress.
George looked at him and went, yeah? What is confusing to you?
That's stress.
It is, but we're in the second last week of Masterchef.
And it's the second step on your fucking...
And it's step 2. It's not the complex bit. It's break the quail up and take the breast off.
Your gif of the John Travolta one where he's just standing there looking around.
Like, and that was what I appreciate about you is that you tried there valiantly to defend Simon.
No.
And very quickly said, step 2.
step
You're in
2.
deep shit.
Yeah.
Christina's deboning of the leg. She almost de-legged the leg.
She was very... Let's just say, I'm glad she's a cook and not my surgeon.
Microsurgery, yeah.
So you came in just to have a small skin cancer removed. I'm afraid we've taken your entire epidermis.
Now, my question for you is...
Yes.
The way that dessert looked in every stage of its creation. Appetizing?
Okay, so we had it looking like runny poo. We had it look like constipated granular poo. We had it looking like constipated granular poo with mucus.
Baby vomit?
Baby vomit. Baby poo when it's really liquidy. Yeah, I would say at no point in the creation of this dish did any of it look appetizing.
It looked horrible. At all stages. But it's okay because as Christina told everybody to camera at one point, I don't need to read the recipe.
And particularly when, I'm going to jump right ahead to her plating up where you had the noise. Now I just want that on a loop of that. And the look of the chef's face like, oh no, just on loop. It really did. It was the sound effect that we were leading to.
Oh, can you imagine that as a backbeat for the song in Masterchef the Musical?
Everything I cook, it looks like poo. It's supposed to be delicious. Is this fine dining or the loo?
That'd be great. I can't wait. I can't wait for this to open. Now, I do have to thank at Pub Squash for my favourite, and again, I'm not a big Friends fan, but I have to thank them for the perfect use of the Rachel trifle. For those who don't know, or like me, not a big Friends fan, the idea where Rachel has her cookbook stick together and makes a trifle, but makes a layer of beef mince with peas because she had the pages stick and ended up using half a shepherd's pie recipe. That kind of reminded me of what they were sort of doing tonight when they were trying to make the two dishes at once. I was waiting for it to end up. There was a very real point at one point tonight where I thought no one's going to plate up anything.
No. Now, I haven't heard anything you said because I've now got George Columbaris' solo song.
Oh, shit, go.
Tweezers in the morning, tweezers when I serve the food, I'll give you tweezers.
Boom, boom, boom.
If
boom.
I like it. Anyway,
Boom.
it's tweezers to the song fever.
Perfect. This is getting better and better by the second.
And he's got to do the Fosse, there's dancing, the Fosse dancing.
So
It's all black. Unitard.
Ayala pointed out on Twitter, I swear these challenges are set up for the guys to fail. It's not a test of cooking, only time management skills. That's fair enough. I don't think there was actually a test of your cooking. I think this was a test of your time management.
Yep.
And as was pointed out by a lot of people tonight, when the fuck do you actually have to do entree and main at the same time?
Never.
Right, it's a fucking created challenge which is stupid. It
Yep.
was a dumb challenge, and it was a challenge that obviously they're two of Santi's recipes, and as we know from Christina, he's a high up chef. I have never heard Kristie take to a random comment like the phrase "he's a high up chef."
I was trying to process it, and I was repeating it over, like...
If you've ever seen the movie
high
Clue...
up chef.
If you've ever seen the movie Clue, she was Mrs. White.
High up chef. High up chef.
Flames on the side of my face. Heaving breath, heaving. So...
Hi.
The only thing we worked out of all the challenges that they could cook were scholars. Funny about that. It's almost like they've been practising since week 1. What we worked out, however, we did work out there's one thing that Christina couldn't cook.
I just realised where we're at. And
we're at the justification point.
No. I just realised what's happened to Masterchef. And Rex Hunt's been right all along.
It's the
thugs in the scallop industry. The thugs in the scallop industry have just come along and torn Masterchef apart.
You know what
Here we are, folks. It all started in 2007 with a little radio program called Get This, and Rex Hunt's address to the nation.
You know what we need? We need a boy from Morty Alec High School who'll come along and save them all.
Yeah. He might have just been there in the stand serving Dixie ice creams.
Yep, and then one day someone will come up to him and say that he really likes him and gives him his business card, the address, the Netherlands. This is Dizzy stuff, folks. So,
that's for you, Kim Spicer. You're the only one of our fans that know what we're talking about.
Christina,
we have fans.
We do. Christina, you poor bastards. Christina served up part of her dish tonight that got the feedback you always want.
Or are they fanamies? They
Let's
like to... Because we're fanamies, essentially, of MasterChef, aren't we?
Christina served up something which you always want to get feedback on, which simply said, it looks like putty.
I was just fixing a few cracks around the house on the weekend, and this is exactly what's reminding me of it. A bit of putty.
So,
Christina, can I just grab the rest of it? Because that'll match the stucco on my...
Now, Simon didn't put a twill...
On my feature wall perfectly.
Simon didn't put a twill down on his plate. But that was apparently okay.
No. Joe stuffs up a twill.
Yeah.
She goes home.
So, the element that was served... And this is, again, we go back to this all the time, but the idea of the element that was served... if it was shit, is better than the one you didn't bother to serve that might be instrumental to the dish.
And apparently, the dessert didn't count. So after all of this, they've gone, Simon, you won the quail dish. When it comes to the dessert, though, it's like the points and who's won it anyway. It doesn't fucking matter. So why did they bother?
It was weird. So they just wanted to justify, I think, Simon staying...
Because if you look at it at the moment, we have guaranteed one
They were
woman...
both horrible, by the way. I'm going to come that straight out and say they were both horrible.
Yeah. We have guaranteed one woman in the top 3. That gives us a 1 in 3 chance of having a woman in the final at least. It's... I don't know what the odds are because I can't do maths, but there are 3... Oh, no, there's only 2 blondes in the competition now. There's still double the chance of a blonde woman being in than a brunette.
I mean, Nicotina has been broken up.
It's even.
Nicotina has been broken up.
Yes. Oh, so I reckon Nicole's next to go because she'll be like Devo that Nikki's gone.
It's now Nicotessa.
It's Nicotessa. Doesn't have the same ring to it.
Nicotessa? No.
Nicotessa.
It sounds...
Nicotessa Ketty. Nicotessa Ketty.
It now just sounds like a young Cypriot girl.
Nicotessa Ketty.
Yeah, Nicotessa Ketty.
Come in. You get away from those boys.
So Christina goes home and I have questions.
Okay.
I asked for some people for some questions.
Yeah.
All right, so...
Yes.
To go through the questions, I'm going to go through a couple of different questions. Victoria, we've already answered your question. Do you guys think having to cook the 2 dishes at once was fair? No. All right. I'll leave that one from Josh for last because it's quite an involved question and quite a good question.
Yes.
Erin Marie asks... Why is Lucy Lawless doing an Aussie procedural and will she do the Xena war cry?
I'd like to take this one. I'll field it as a big Xena fan. I would like to think, yeah, she will. They will crowbar that shit in somewhere. If not her doing it, someone else will, probably dressed in cosplay. She'll have to go solve a crime at Supernova in Melbourne or Comic-Con in Melbourne.
Yep.
And there'll be Xena cosplays around.
100%.
Yeah. And the actual actress who played Gabrielle will be there to...
That'd be great.
And they have to interact, yeah.
And also, by the way, Kristie does that cheer in proper full volume at concerts. It's great. All right. So Timberwolf asks, how much is the show observed by professionals in the business and does their reputation precede them if they try to go pro? For example, not supporting the team in a challenge, not taking responsibility for your stuff-ups, etc., etc., etc. The answer is... They don't fucking care.
No.
They want to see that you've got a passion for food and you've got a vague amount of technique and skill and you're willing to learn.
And I think it's also a matter of clicking and personality. Like, there are as many different chefs in the world as there are chefs, with all their own takes and their own interests and their own quirks and blah, blah, blah. And so I think that, you know, it's like clicking. It's like if you go into a workplace, you either click with someone like, yeah, I have a passion for working for non-profits and working for people with disabilities. Does that mean every organisation I work into I'll click? No. But there'll be some teams that you just click with and they're magical. And I can imagine it's the same if you're a contestant going out into the real world.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, trying that. Yeah.
All right. Brandon Black asks us, he's got a couple tonight. What do you think needs to be done to make the show more interesting and more joyous? I feel the show lacks
Shark
joy.
Tank. And they have to jump it on a Vespa.
All right, so this leads into, I gave my theory the other night. Go back and listen to the Robert podcast. I gave my theory on how to fix the show. I've had more thoughts. I know. I'm a white male aged between 18 and 39. Everyone listens to me no matter how stupid my idea.
I was going to close my ears now.
Yep. All right, so the idea that I had the other night was basically that you don't send anyone home for 2 weeks. What I've added to that now is that what they should do for the first 2 weeks is bring in 4 chefs. Not former contestants, chefs, professionals. They get 4 of them in to mentor for 2 weeks. My idea behind that is that they rotate them, they break them into 6s, not into teams as such, but they just separate them into 6, 6, 6, and 6 and go, right, you 6 start with this one, and then you rotate around them, and then the next night you rotate who their mentor is, right? So they get, in a week, if you do 4 nights in a week, you get 4 different mentors for each group. So you rotate that around. So you're learning different styles, you're learning different everythings. Then after 2 weeks of that, you've learned all the foundations, you've had 4 different sets of instructions and 4 different lots of guidance. You can get them to taste all the food in like challenges and things like that. And then the first time that Matt, Gary and George taste is the first time you send somebody home. And they're not going to just be tailoring to what Matt, Gary and George want to eat. They're going to actually have learnt for 2 weeks all these different styles and be given the opportunity to test and try things. That's what I would do. Because that would add joy, because it would give everybody the chance and the opportunity to actually cook a wide range of things. So that's my other theory on that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, moving on, because I know that was really boring for you.
No, you can listen. I was coming up with another musical number.
Okay, go.
Here is Matt Sinclair's one. Hold on. Oh, fuck it. What can I say except you're welcome for the pin you won tonight? Without my help, you know you're welcome. I'm just a Masterchef kind of guy. You're welcome.
See, I was thinking a version of I'm All Alone from Spamalot, where he's singing about being all alone as all the other contestants are behind him going, apart from us. All right. Brandon asked another one. I'll do this back to back. Mm-hmm. What do you say is the big difference between MasterChef Australia and Bake Off AU, Great British Bake Off, and Great Canadian Bake Off? All right. So
prizes. There is no big prize at the end.
I think that the prize money actually hurts MasterChef a little bit.
There is no guests at all. It is a set host pair and a set judging pair.
The camaraderie comes, again, not saying that MasterChef doesn't. In fact, everything we've heard this year was it did.
Yep.
But like that bake-off group is always a very tight-knit group of bakers.
It's a smaller group of people. It's also a lower production cost. There's also a shorter filming schedule. And I would also say that people are there for boasting stakes, really. You know,
and the other thing is too, they're the focus.
Yeah.
Right. The food and them are the focus, and it's not about a competitive personality. It's a collective.
Yep.
And Bake Off is a collective. Yes, somebody wins it, but it's a collective.
And you'll see that people are actually genuinely there to compete against the best in each other, but in a fun way. And you generally have judges who are keen to see and delighted to see what people are producing.
Now, for those who haven't seen Australian, you've got Matt Moran and Maggie Beer. So first of all, Queen Maggie. And second of all, you've got, we talk about Gary and Matt and George and their reputation worldwide. Well, if you want to see someone who actually has the chops, Matt Moran is that person. You know, Matt Moran is globally respected. And
he has a gravitas without it being
not an ego.
arrogance.
It's not an ego.
Not ego at all. He's a very quiet, reserved guy when, you know, like when we've seen him at the grand final and stuff, like, but he's not pissy about it. It's not like when I used to work at the cinema in Norton Street, Brian Brown would come in with his delightful wife Rachel. Yes, I'm name dropping, and Barry Otto came in, and fucking Ann Sanders and a few other famous people. Katrina Roundtree at her height, and she's very tiny. He would come in and he would like be a fucking arrogant prick, standing obviously out of the way while Rachel ran around and got all the popcorn and stuff for the kids, and just, you know, was trying to be inconspicuously conspicuous, and yes, it's me, but don't approach me, but look, it's me, but don't approach me because I am Brian Brown. So that's not Matt Moran. He's the opposite of that.
No, he's lovely.
Yeah.
He's absolutely lovely. I think it's just the word lovely is the difference. It's friendly, it's lovely, it's just about food and having fun.
Plus, you don't have hosts judges acting as hosts. You actually have a dedicated host.
You have two hosts, and they are there to make everybody look good.
And to lift energy and to cut tension and to really support the contestants through what they're doing.
Massive shout out to Claire Hooper and Mel Buttle in particular. Just huge shout out.
And you see them like in Britain at the moment, they've got Noel Fielding and Sandy Toksvig, who I'm sure if you said you will be doing the Great Australian or the Great British Bake Off like 10 years ago, they would have laughed and said, no way, Mel and Sue are there for life. But they've come on and they don't have a cooking background, but they have a genuine interest in these people and what they're doing and like learning about stuff on the way. It's quite lovely.
Noel Fielding admitting I know nothing about baking is great.
And then being chased by a werewolf randomly in the background. It's fantastic.
That's perfect. So the last question I'm going to ask is Josh's, who asks,
okay,
if you had the opportunity to invite 5 of your favourite contestants from any food show, who would they be, what would they cook, and what would you cook? Now,
we're putting a caveat on this.
We're going to put a caveat on it, which is we cannot have anybody that we have actually had food with.
Because there's a few of you, and we don't want to insult you if we don't include you, because I genuinely love your company.
So we're
going big, we're going grandiose.
But it's about if you had the opportunity. You know, most of the people we've had some food with, we can probably have food with. Yep. So we're going to rule out a lot of people.
So are we also including celebrities, or is it just contestants? Contestants. Okay,
except you can include. I'll give you a caveat. You can include.
Oh my God! Famous people who baked on Great British Bake Off.
Yes.
Oh my God!
So I'm starting. My first option is Terry Hatcher.
Okay. All right.
Because she was really fucking good.
Okay.
And could cook really well. What is she making? I don't care. She can bake. Terry Hatcher can bake. Little known. 2. Who am I? Else am I having over? I'm having Steph and Jess from this year's MasterChef.
Yes.
Because my God, they would be good company.
They would be, indeed. And everyone needs a friend like Jess.
Everyone needs a friend like Jess. So I'm going Terry Hatcher. I'm going Steph and Jess. Yan from Great British Bake Off a couple of seasons ago. Because Yan is amazing and awesome and wonderful and fantastic. And I'm going to go Great British Bake Off again, and I'm going to go Stephen. And same thing, because he is lovely and wonderful and funny, and he comes to Australia, and that's who I'm going with. Okay.
All right. Cool.
What would I cook? We'll come to that at the end.
Yeah. Oh, God. All right. This is painful. Okay. So, I'd really love to have dinner with Wendy McIsaac and Anne-Marie from the Great Canadian Baking Show.
I just realised I didn't include any of the Canadians, and I'm sorry, I love you all, and I would actually
That's all right, I'm going to hang with the Canadians.
You can have them all.
I like you. Chris obviously doesn't. And I know
I'm taking Terry Hatcher out, and I'm putting Megan in.
Okay.
From Megan from Canadian Bake Off.
All right, okay. So I've got them. I think I would also like to dine with Jess, just because I think the four of us
Jess, you're invited.
The four of us would have a fucking hilarious time. Now, okay, just for shits and fucking giggles, Russell Brand was on the
Yes, he was.
the Great British Bake Off Celebrities. So just bring him to really fuck shit up.
That'd be fun. We're out of time. Not out of time. Time is a fluid concept.
Yes. Now, sorry, I need a fifth person, and it's because I'm now like going, oh, should I have that person? Should I have this person? And maybe we should go for some eye candy. Who do I want? Oh, we'll get Julian from the Great Canadian Bake Off.
Oh, God, yeah, okay. Okay.
Handy dandy Julian.
Now, what are we going to make? Well, what am I going to make?
Yeah.
I don't know. If you've been on the Instagram, you would have seen I've come up with I've been cooking a range of things this week.
Yeah. Well, Wendy on my team, she's going to be obviously making like lobster.
She has to. It's required. It's required. And meanwhile, you're going, I have to invite Wendy. And meanwhile, Anne-Marie's there going, oh, Kristie, you left me off the list.
No, Anne-Marie. I got her. I said Wendy and Anne-Marie.
I didn't hear you say Anne-Marie.
Oh, really? Otherwise, I would have only had 4 people.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway.
I think I want to keep Julian off though. Sorry, Julian.
No, keep him.
No, I want someone else.
So you keep thinking about that while I work out what we cook. So
Khan! I want fucking Khan. There we go. Got it.
Good call.
Sorry.
Good call.
So overexcited because I think this is actually going to happen.
So, in terms of what we cook,
yes. Khan will cook me whatever the fuck he wants. Something he's foraged.
I'm not going to make them work out what they're going to cook. I'm just going to say what I'm going to cook. So,
okay.
I do my crispy skin duck. Probably.
Yeah.
And my duck fat potatoes.
Yeah. I just get Jess to make scallops. No, actually, I'd get her to make the dish she made from Firedoor that she did.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
I get Megan to make pretty much everything she made on Canadian Bake Off.
Yeah, Anne-Marie, I'm looking at you and your deliciousness. Just whatever you like. And what am I making you guys? Well, I think I'm just going to order us.
Menu log, I was about to say.
My favourite laksa. So
there we go. So next week is finals week.
So I really got carried away with that.
You did. Next week is finals week.
Where would you have it? Would you have it here at our place after the Renos? We have
100%,
to do it after the
100%.
Yeah.
So finals week, we don't know if it's actually the last week or if they're going to roll into. I suspect they're going to roll into the week after as well. We don't quite know. I think they're going to go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then do Saturday, Monday.
Fancy or just like cash?
No, it'd be cash. So it'd be 100% cash. So
and we'd definitely be playing like Jackbox games.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. 100%. Okay. So we've got an interesting final week up our sleeves.
You could possibly be our barman.
Maybe could. Maybe possibly we could have it. I don't know.
Do you think we could dress the cats up in like cute little waiters outfits? Like
maybe.
I would have lots of candles.
They take orders. The cats take orders from nobody.
Yeah.
If you're stuck with us this long on the podcast, thank you. So next week's finals week, it might end. It might keep rolling. Who the fuck knows? It's got to be over by the time Survivor starts, so that's something to remember. So unless they're going to roll into that episode of Survivor and the last person left who wins MasterChef is forced onto the island. So that could be fun. Until next Monday, I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Kristie.
We'll catch you all later.
Now who else would I bring along to this dinner?